Hi, it's me again, Stephanie, and we're talking about dogs and jumping. At least that's where I left off, and I wanted to get back to that and talk about why dogs jump, because it's not just one reason. They jump because they're happy, they want to do the face thing. They can be nervous, stressed out, reactive, and it's just an emotional response. They just jump. And then there's some dogs that are bossy, and I've run across a few of these where they will jump on you to almost like push you away, if there may be a little aggression in there, or they might be trying to manage you. Don't confuse that with dominance, because some of these dogs are scared. A lot of them are. In fact, most of them are. So that brings me to, maybe before I finish on the jumping, a little bit about that. Dominance and submissiveness. Everybody throws those words around. And they're not bad per se if you really know what you're talking about as far as behaviorally. I prefer, because most people think that it just means, aggression or passive type dogs, and yes and no. All right, so I think of it this way, and I like to explain it this way, is that think of a dog that has confidence and a dog that doesn't have confidence. So you can have a very confident dog with no bossy nature or aggression and just be the best dog ever. They're the dogs that are bulletproof. They're the dogs that, like, nothing bothers them. I mean, they are just cool. They are like the Fonzie. I'm dating myself. Just the cool dogs. And that, like I said, and they can be very confident dogs. They carry themselves confidently. They look confident. And again, it's just nothing bothers them, or nothing much bothers them. And then you have dogs that have very little or low confidence, and they're the ones that are all like, oh my God, all the time, Now, you can add aggression to either one of those. That's a separate component. If you add that to a confident dog, you can have a dangerous dog. If you have a dog that's very confident and aggressive, ooh, that's scary, because they'll come at you. If you have a little tiny, oh no, I shouldn't even say that. That's not true. If you have a dog that has lacking confidence, because you can have a really tiny dog that is dominant and, taking that word again, confident and aggressive, and they bite. And so it's not the size of the dog, and it's not the breed of the dog, okay? It's the personality, the genetics of the dog. And they're born pretty much this way, more than people realize, I think. And anyway, so you have the little dog that is, I said little dog, the dog that lacks confidence. And I say little, I think, because they tend to make themselves little. They look like that, and they get, but they can be aggressive. And those are the dogs that they snap at you when you go near them, or if you go to try, you go to try to pick them up, and they're, they're just, and some will bite. Again, okay, here's aggression. Let's just talk about just aggression. All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, I speak of it like this. Think of like the heat in a chili. You have hot, you have a mild chili, hot chili, and crazy hot, burn your mouth chili. And a scale of 1 to 10, there's all kinds of heat. And I think of it that way with aggression. There's all kinds of heat that is in a dog. Some dogs are just going to curl their lip and maybe do, Some dogs will snap at the air. Some dogs will come at you snapping and then go away. Some dogs will come at you snapping, make contact, and then go away. And then some dogs come at you, make contact, and bite hard, or maybe not hard, but they bite. And then there's the dogs that do bite hard, make the contact, and then there's the dogs that not only bite, hold on, bite hard, and then shake. And those are very dangerous animals, obviously. So there's levels of aggression, there's all kinds of heat, even within that. So when people say aggression, or they God forbid, say dominance and the mean aggression. It's just like, it muddies the water. It just muddies the water. So let's take those words and set them aside and just say confidence or lack of confidence as the general personality of the dog. And then we can plug in things like maybe they're a little bossy, or maybe they do have some aggression. Well, how much? Where is it going? How does it manifest? What does it look like? In what circumstances does it happen? Is it, resource guarding? Is it resource guarding to people, animals, or both? So many things to discuss here that we just don't have. This isn't the time. I don't have the time. The books of volumes have been written on this. So that's why you need to talk to somebody individually about your dog. And you want to make sure that I know I'm off topic here of jumping, but you want to make sure that you are with a non-force or force-free trainer. There's really only 2 camps of dog training. And I actually should talk more about this specifically in a video. There's non-force training, force-free training, that's what I do, and many other people, thousands and thousands of us do this. And then there's force trainers, which is more along the lines with what most people think of dog training, and that includes choke chains, pinch collars, electronics, and intimidating tactics like or no, bad dog. Yes, shaker cans with pennies, spray bottles, anything that is used to intimidate, and then pain. Okay, because you have 4 quadrants of behavior, behaviorism, I should say, the positive training thing, and the negative, they call positive, negative, and it's add and subtract. It's not good and bad. Okay, it's addition and subtraction. So when you're adding, your positive reinforcement means you're adding good things to the dog's world, giving the dog things the dog wants, food or social interaction. Then negative reinforcement is not what you think. Negative reinforcement is withholding or delaying the things the dog may want, social interaction or food. And then you have positive punishment, which sounds weird to our ear, but what it means is adding punishment to the dog. And then negative punishment would be taking punishment out of the way, not stopping. It would be stopping punishment. So it would look like typical choke chain, or let's say the electronics, which everybody's using. Okay, dog does something you don't like, you add punishment, you press the button, zap, dog goes, and stops, okay? Then you take your finger off and you stop doing that to the dog, and the dog stops doing the behavior, and we humans go, great, problem solved. Unfortunately, when you use punishment, it works, and that's unfortunate because humans really like that, and they will argue with me for hours about it. Well, I don't argue for hours, but they would, I just kind of like try to state my case and move on. But anyway, there's payback. There's it boomerangs, because here's the problem: stress. Okay, dogs do things because they're that we don't like. As a rule, a lot of the things we don't like. The barking, the jumping, and the chewing, especially chewing, very, very common, related to stress. These are all the reactive things, the separation anxiety. A lot of these behaviors that humans call us for are stress behaviors. Dogs are stressed out and maybe have trauma. And it's maybe nothing that the people did. Maybe the dog was transported. Maybe the dog had a bad beginning. Maybe the dog just has stress because they're born that way. There's a lot of dogs that are naturally just born kind of like, If you meet the mother, that's a good hint, by the way. Meet the mother. If you'd like the mother and take her home, you might like those babies. So just watch that for genetics. I could do a whole video just on that. So anyway, the whole dominance and submission thing, again, setting the words aside and thinking of confidence, lack of confidence, forced training versus non-forced training. Forced training brings punishment into the picture. And when you do that, you bring that stress into the picture. And when you bring stress into the picture, you may win the battle, but you lose the war. Okay? Things happen. Let's just leave it at this, that we say stress is the enemy, and stress-related behaviors and or medical problems. Go online. There's a list, big long list of stress-related disorders, problems, all kinds. And pick a few. It could be any of them. I'm not saying it's going to be this one or that one in your dog. I just will tell you that there will be something, because stress doesn't go away. It's like whack-a-mole. You can push it down here, but it will pop up over here. So you keep trying to, correct, submit, suppress that behavior, and it will pop up somewhere else. It may not bother you, wherever it pops up. It may not be a problem for you. Maybe the dog licks his paws or licks his flank and is, or blanket sucking, or doing some kind of behavior that doesn't really bother you, or maybe it does. So it really is our perception more than what's really happening. It's so hard for the dogs to figure out how to get their needs met, and they just do dog things. They jump, they bark, no, we don't want them to bite. Well, they do bite to get their needs met. If they're scared and they want you to go away, they will sometimes bite to make you go away. Okay? So understanding this, that they're trying to get needs met, and that it's not about us, they're not like trying to get over on us, or they don't have pride. They don't have that human pride thing. They're just doing behavior stuff, and they have lots of emotion, tremendous emotion. They're very emotional. I said this in the last video. Very emotional. Their back of their brain is where they live. Instinct and emotion. Instinct and emotion. That's mantra I will say over and over. Instinct and emotion. This part here, the figuring out executive brain, where they reason and do all that stuff that we think they're doing, not much. Hunting, they problem solve, yes, for hunting purposes, yeah, and how to get what they need. And they're trying to figure out how to get what they need. They're not very good at it. And especially their behaviors, they're not, what they do is not what we would like them to do. And so we say they're bad, or they're stubborn, or God forbid, stupid, and that's just not true. Here's a good one. I think I'll leave with these here. Why does a dog use their mouth? They don't have hands. That is their mouth. So when they're using their mouth and we take our hands and go in, we end up like this. And it deteriorates very bad. There are way better ways to handle that. When a dog steals something and runs away with it, or you take it away from them, you just make them want it more. People say, oh, I know it's a game. More than that. You are teaching your dog that this is how we get our needs met. This is how you get your needs met. This is how you get my attention. This is how you get social interaction, one of the major needs. Okay? So you're teaching your dog to do that, and you're teaching them that that particular item is very valuable, which then can become resource guarding. Maybe, in some dogs. Not all. It depends on the dog. Chasing the dog and yelling, come back! Basically teaches a dog to run, because they're in their viewpoint, you're like, hey, we're running and mom's coming with me, or dad, and we're going to all run together. This is great. We're having a great time. We're running and we're having social interaction together. And this is what they want, that connection with us. And actually, they're connecting with us by running with us in this group that we're doing. And we're doing it. Talk about later how to not do that. Rough play teaches rough play. You can teach a dog, you can play tug appropriately, teaching a dog to release and drop, but those are processes that need to be taught. You can't just yank the dog around and then say, yell at the dog and intimidate the dog to drop it. Well, you can if you like, but it's highly ineffective and can tend to lead to not very nice things. And here's a big one that, again, books have been written on. I could talk for hours on dogs that pull. Little puppies pull on the leash, and the humans go with them. It is teaching the dog how to get from point A to point B. They pull you. And that's how I get from point A to point B. Remember, dogs just trying to figure out how to get their needs met. This particular need is to go over there and either go to the bathroom, hopefully, or go sniff something, maybe, you know. But they're filling a need, and they're pulling you, and you're coming with them. So you're teaching them. This is how we move. We go, you pull, I go with you. So what I usually recommend people do with little puppies, if you have a little puppy, is get yourself a 15-foot, 20-foot rope, leash, thing, anything that you want. I like actually those cables, and then I hook the leash on my end so that if the puppy turns around and bites the cable, it's like, who cares? And then I stand there, and I'm just a walking tree. I give them like 15 or 20 feet to move around. Never. I don't care if it's 3 feet or 30 feet or 300 feet. When that line becomes tight, I plant myself and I just go, I'm sorry, I'm not going anywhere. Usually what will happen if I don't pull, if I just stand there, most dogs, if they're young and they haven't experienced the joy of pulling for them, they just go, oh, I guess we're not going this way. They stop, turn around, like, you know, the tree's not coming with me, you know, and they go somewhere else and they back up. If you want to keep going that way, then that's up to you. But if you don't, then you can encourage the dog. When I say encourage, I don't mean come, no. I mean, hey, puppy, let's go, you know, and the puppy will, oh, what are we doing? And come, you know, probably trotting along with you. Older dogs that are confirmed pullers, there's easy ways to manage them, safe ways to manage them, ways to harnesses and leashes and collars that are not painful and do not harm the dog in any way, cause any more stress. See, we're not talking about being nice to the puppies, which we want to be. Everybody wants to be. But I'm talking about not creating stress, because stress is the enemy. And a dog that is stressed is a dog that usually obviously not very happy most of the time. And the owners aren't very happy. They usually are, and this is most common. People call me and say, oh, my dog's such a good boy. He's really a good boy. And it's usually some stress-related disorder that they're calling me about. And I have to kind of backtrack to where the genesis of the stress is or was, and then see if we can counter-condition. Well, prefer this. What we want to do is desensitize, counter-condition, and then bring the dog forward to where we want them to be. So I know I ramble and I go on, and I'm sorry if it was too much. You know, feel free to give me a holler. I don't mind if people call me and pick my brain for free. Not a problem. All right? You have a wonderful day. It's gorgeous here today. Very nice weather. I'm enjoying it. Hope you are too. Bye-bye.